that was a really fertile land. People died. People were driven out of their homes. There was a whole land which used to be a bustling area is dead for the next 20,000 years.
Well, you can blame the Transformers on that.
Yeah, it's because of Michael Bay.
And that's not the only example of that. I mean, we repeatedly evoke images of thoughts of 9/11 and the Challenger, like if I can just say, with the Challenger, where the building is just being blown up out of the air and everybody's watching on the TV, and it looks exactly like the Challenger explosion, and you're like, and everybody's like, and a line before that came like, where were you when this would have happened? So it kind of has that kind of thing of like, oh man, what a tragedy that this happened. And then there's also, we repeatedly have images of buildings crumbling, ships flying into other buildings, and just like, I swear there was a line when somebody said like ground zero or something like that. And to me, it just gets really like, thank you, Michael Bay. Thank you. You are on it. Like, beyond the fact that you just made 3 exceptionally bad movies, you are a really terrible person.
Oh, we know
like,
that. Like,
really terrible person. What?
Don't forget, he made Michael Bay isn't definitely not the best at understanding when to not make something, when something might be a little too far, because he made Pain and Gain.
Well, you didn't see. I did see
Yeah.
Pain and Gain, which is a eye-opening tale of someone just crumbling into excess. Not the themes of the movie. Michael Bay once more. It's really uncomfortable to watch when you see like The Rock grilling people's like fingers off, and it's obviously supposed to be comedy. Like, there's a little part of you in the back of your mind that's like, wow, that actually happened. And Michael Bay thinks this is hilarious.
Right, and by the way, the reason I'll never see it is because I think that it's just, this is not something that happened 20 years ago. This is something, less than a decade ago, this happens. And
it's sad that it's probably his best movie that I've seen of his.
Oh yeah, and the family of the victims were not okay with it. They said, I'm not really very happy with this.
But the movie would have made money. Well, the movie did make money, and money is more important. Yeah.
But,
Transformers
I think,
3.
there was one scene that seemed almost akin to Schindler's List, where like the Botny's being killed, and he's clearly a Jewish stereotype. He seems like one of them immediately. So he's a scientist. He's smart, so he must be Jewish.
No. Well, that's actually something that is another problem. Where even in the first movie, I could name like at least a tiny little thing about some of the Transformers, the Autobots at least. In this movie, they are literally defined by their goofy accents. Like, you got your Scottish Transformer, and you got like your I don't know, like there's a bunch of
the Target Transformer, the Transformer with the Target sign on his waist.
That was I was so angry when you pointed that out. Like I remember, like, you're like, why is there a Target symbol on him? And I'm like, oh, is he about to be like sniped by someone? And then he said, no, like the symbol for the company Target is on his chest. I'm like, oh, come on, like really? This is, and the problem is I actually didn't even notice me, so it's not even effective product placement.
And maybe it's not. Maybe he's just did not realize this looks like Target. Maybe we shouldn't put this on here. This kind of looks like Target. But
yeah, they're not defined by anything other than their accents. And then,
there's the one Autobot that literally the only thing he's defined by is at the end of the movie he says to Bumblebee, "Good job."
Oh yeah, that was awesome. I love that. Like, it literally could have been like somebody could have just popped out of nowhere, like, punch in the arm. Good job, Bumblebee. We did a good job. And like, I wonder how much that voice actor was paid for being there for like literally
5 seconds.
Like not even 5, like literally 2 seconds. Like, good job, Bumblebee. You got paid to say 3 words. I hope he was paid by the word.
Paid by the word.
Probably wasn't paid much, but
minimum. You get $30,000 per word.
Yeah. They had money to spare.
Oh, and then the product. There's so much product placement. Of course there is. I mean, and you see it. It's rampant throughout the film. I don't pointed out the Target. There's a waste disposal company that is advertised in this film.
Yeah, that was great. Like, are we gonna switch our waste disposal company to like someone else's? And it's just like the neighborhood. At least to me, it's just like, neighborhood will get this. But I just let things happen in my neighborhood.
Oh, and not just that, but there also scenes that are pointless as well. For example,
really?
a whole subplot
other than the previous hour that was totally pointless.
No, but like the one subplot's pointless. So the Gaul has this boss who's keeping a hostage, and so he says, "Oh, you need to get you need to get Optimus Prime to say his plan." So he has this gives him this witch watch, the Decepticon, so he'll tell him. And what's the plan? Nothing.
Yeah, they had no. Yeah, so they set up the scene for 3 minutes, and then the actual scene is a slapstick sequence that ruins the tone of the previous scene, which is a huge problem in all these movies. Where in the middle of an action scene or a dramatic scene, someone will say some stupid joke and then just try to go back to the dramatic scene. Oh yeah, well, the dramatic scene. A little joke. Oh yeah, we're gonna just ask you to still be in this dramatic scene. Aren't you still in this dramatic scene? But I like. No, I don't like this, but. I'm totally gonna steal this phrase from another reviewer. Patrick Dempsey, really? Dr. McBad Television is gonna be the villain of your $200 million Transformers movies? And Patrick Dempsey is probably the best villain of all of the people in these Transformers movies.
Recognize him.
Yeah, you can tell that. Well, there is Sentinel Prime, Leonard Nimoy giving the best performance of the entire movie, and also the most not dignified.
Outweigh the need of the few.
That was totally on spot.
Thank you, Michael Bay, for giving us that moment.
Yeah, ruining one of the best lines and most important lines in the history of science fiction. It's wonderful.
And not to mention, one thing I've noticed in this film throughout the series is, so Bay really likes slow-mo. When he likes something, you can tell because he uses it all the time, whether it needs it or not.
It turns into I mentioned this before. It turns into a Paul W. Sanderson movie where it's just we're just gonna have slow mo while they're walking to the deli or something like that. It's so obnoxious. I mean, slow motion can be used to enhance a story. I think of Dread 3D or A Clockwork Orange, where the slow motion is actually being utilized to enhance what's going on. But no, it really does. In modern action movies, it really is starting to annoy me. We'll just make it slow motion for absolutely no reason at all.
He does it all the time.
I wonder if they actually sped up those scenes to actual normal motion. If we could cut another 10 minutes out of this movie. That'd be nice if we could cut another 10 minutes out.
We might be able to. That's how much he uses it.
Seriously, it probably is at least 10 minutes.
And what I don't understand as well is that there are still people who really like all of these movies, and especially for this one, the action is might be the worst part of the movie because it's boring. It's so boring. Nothing interesting ever happens in the action. You remember it feels like an eternity. You remember when we were watching it, we watched that one together. We would check that time left.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was more fun than the movie where we're just oh wow, it's been 3 minutes since we last checked how much longer there is left in this movie.
And then afterwards, I would just get on the floor and start saying the Jewish prayer that we have to say before we die because this movie's gonna kill me.
Yeah, that was strange that you kept doing that.
I thought it was
even more than the second movie. Well, actually, no, that's tough to say because there is that almost 15-minute long stretch of the second movie, the climax to that, where literally nothing is happening. It's just Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf running through the desert while stuff is blowing up around them, and they run in slow motion, literally for 15 minutes. So,
and when we say nothing is happening, it's not like this character development or something like that. It's nothing.
It's Shia LaBeouf yells 38 times in the climax of the movie. And we actually counted. Well, he yells a couple other times towards the beginning of the movie for absolutely no reason. He just freaks out Nick Cage style for no reason at all. Just it's some random guy. But other than so maybe subtract at most 8 yells. He yelled. We counted 30 times, and every time he just sounds like a complete mincing fool. And Shia LaBeouf, I respected what he was doing in the other movies, but here he really just obviously doesn't even know what to do. It literally comes off like he's giving a comedic performance, but he's just I haven't seen an actor give a slapsticky comedic performance in so long where it just looks like he's miserable doing it the entire time. And he tries to add charisma, but you can see kind of on his face that he doesn't really want to be here anymore, and at least I got that impression. So even like one of the only good things that was even in this franchise in the first place, which is, I guess, Shia LaBeouf. It's wasted. Just wasted Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
And he said Shia LaBeouf is not a tremendous actor, but he has charisma. You wasted the only person that had talent. Well, and John Turturro. You wasted.
Actually, a lot of the actors had talent. I mean, but they
didn't always show it.
They didn't always show it, but I mean, what I'll say is this: Michael Bay can totally tell actors do this.
Mm-hmm. And that's another strange thing about this movie, that this movie is like star-studded. Like, we'll just like we'll put John Malkovich and Frances McDormand in this movie for absolutely no reason. Like I can't even believe that the woman who was in Fargo and just did such a great job in that movie is just completely wasted in this movie, just being the bitchy, like
being that girl
whatever.
who like John Turturro falls around and compliments her.
Yeah, that was really not something I needed to see. Overall, it's kind of strange to even say this, but I enjoyed it a lot more than the second one. Though, I think at least final thoughts for me. Everything about the movie is pretty much the same as the second one, honestly, except for the most part, everything is lessened slightly, but it does kind of go to show what happens when you lessen slightly these terrible things. And the acting is... No, it doesn't really work anymore for me, at least. But at least they are trying to build... They have scenes where they're trying to build atmosphere. So, for me, at least, I'm going to give it a solid 3 out of 10. Also, I would like to say that the effects, like the second one, Knowing effect, don't even work for me anymore. So, can't even factor that in. 3 out of 10.
And I'm going to also give it a 3 out of 10. The movie is... I agree with you, Grayson. It is mainly just taking what the second film had done wrong and making it slightly less bad, and I will give it credit that it does at times actually set up an atmosphere, and it shows for the first hour of the film that it looks like they are trying to do that, and then they're like, well, we're gonna make money. Then they realize, wait, we could do whatever we want and we'll still make money. Just kind of imagine the screenwriters just saying that.